And Cailleach, it is all yours.
Right, please excuse my cat. Apparently, she needs all the attention now because I'm home. Hi, everybody. If you don't know me, I'm Cailleach from Namron. I had the great pleasure of putting together Namron's virtual Beltane in 2 weeks. So, yeah. But it's super fun. And I found out that I really, really enjoy doing virtual events. The feedback I received from people who don't normally get to go to events was overwhelming. And I really like being able to bring SCA to people at home who don't normally get the opportunity to go. So obviously the first thing you need to do for your virtual event is, what is this? Are you replacing a in-person event? Sorry. Obviously we did Beltane, so I got with their excellencies and the seneschal to determine if we were going to do championships or not. I'm sure, as everybody knows, most events generally have a championship of some sort of or other. So we decided to not do championships. If we had, I feel like an arts and science would be really super easy to convert over to the digital format. Simpler things like that. Any fighting combats where we get a little iffy, we were fortunate enough to use Roll20 to do a tourney, which went over really well. But at the same time, most of our participants were non-fighters, so something to consider. However, getting to see two sweet ladies that are hardcore A&S folk battling each other was pretty fantastic. One of the really, really main important things with social media is people want to see images. They don't want to read. So having graphics is a really prime way to push all of that through. I personally use canva.com. It's CANVA. It's a free service with options to upgrade to pro special feature things. It's really super user friendly. It's really basic. It's a lot of drag and drop. You don't have to have a lot of fancy computer skills to make these graphics. And they really, really help bring participation to what you're doing. Now, let's say, what are we doing? How are you going to figure out what to do for your event? What I highly recommend is looking at things you were already going to be having at your event. So I'm going to keep referring to Beltane. I'm sorry, but easy frame of reference. I knew that we generally had children's activities, which I will get to later. We can have classes. And then, like, we were going to have our cookie competition and our mock gladiator battle. So what I did is I looked at everything we had planned and tried to convert it to something digital. Unfortunately, we can't do that for everything, but to try to get as much of it as we can is pretty fantastic. For filler and to keep people engaged, I turned to Pinterest to look up like Facebook direct sale parties. So that's where the scavenger hunt came from, and the Simon Says, because they were common themes that I found on there that a lot of the direct sale parties have, which basically a direct sales party is an event. It really is. You're just not buying anything except for fun. So that's a really, really good source is that you can also look at, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Like I personally have a whole library of websites that I go to that I like how they run stuff and things to do for customer engagement. And I tried to convert it to society engagement. Obviously, the sky is the limit on this. It's pretty amazing what we're able to do. So after you've got all of your events picked out for the day, what I did, which really helped me, is I had a post calendar. And this is where I really utilized the Facebook group, because you can schedule your posts. So I took everything that I had for the 3 post categories that we had, which was the scavenger hunt, the His Excellency Says, and I think that was just those 2, and posted them throughout the day, so there would always be something every half hour. A lot of really good feedback that I received from people was saying they wish they would have a reminder to turn off post notifications for things they've already commented on, because they were missing new posts because they were just getting dinged for the old post, which I found out you will still get dinged on those posts 3 days later after your event, constantly. But it's also really cool because people are still going and able to participate in the event 3 days later. So that's another reason why I really liked this format. The other thing that I put in that initial every half hour schedule was reminders for any contests that you might be having, any upcoming classes, to have reminders for the classes. And that way it's already scheduled in there and you don't have to worry about it day of when you're trying to moderate 20 million comments and your other phone's blowing up with, hey, what about this? Hey, what about this? It's really, really similar to autocratting a live event. It's just all right here. And you don't move. So after that was really the easiest way. Schedule it and then schedule your posts. For classes, one of the things that was a learning curve for us was to actually have your classes under events and do it as each class is its own event, so you can promote it. You can put all of your links in there if people have questions beforehand. Very, very similar to how Kat has set up this fantastic group for us. That way people aren't scrambling at the last minute to find things and trying to find a specific post, and it's all there under the events and it's a lot more contained. So does anybody have any questions so far? Since I feel like I'm just rambling. No? Yes. Go ahead. Can she unmute herself?
Yeah, I know, I got it.
Okay.
So when you were just talking about having classes be their own events, did that mean that you had the Beltane event? I was there. I participated. I should know this. But
it's okay.
Then you had, was that then a group, or did you have an event and then a subset of? Go ahead.
So we had both. We had an event page and we had a group. The event page was more for reminders for people of, hey, this is today. Hey, this is how you get there. But it wasn't the actual site. The site was the Facebook group. And then in the group, you can schedule the classes as events. Super, super handy.
And didn't you also do the group because it allows you to schedule your posts, whereas
Yes.
the event does not?
Yes. So that was something that was very important to me, to schedule posts. So that was something that I really pushed for and was very thankful that I got my way on that one, because they were wanting to do all of it on the event page and it wouldn't let me do it. And so scheduling classes. The other thing that is really good when you schedule the classes is you can make your teachers as co-event holders, and they can get in and moderate stuff and answer questions, or if they need to post specific graphics for their class, they can, and they're not sending it all to you and harass. For classes, I would highly recommend getting a class coordinator. That way you have, much like a big event, having somebody else that's able to take over that and make it their own and come to you for problems, and it's less stress, I promise. And then that way it really helps with also scheduling, because you're not having to do your main schedule and the class schedule at the same time and making it all, they're its own separate entity. I would also say, if you have any other coordinators, to give them very hard deadlines for when you need things turned in, and to fully communicate with you on what they're doing, so nothing gets lost through the cracks. One thing that I'm going to give you a very fantastic example of is the night before virtual Beltane, I found out that my coordinator thought I was setting up all the Zoom meetings for all the classes. So that was a last minute scramble of, yeah. So it worked out fine. It was beautiful. It turned out great. But that's where I was all like, okay, guys, hard deadlines. We're going to do this, and you're going to communicate with me. And much like, any other fantasticalness, but you have to have it all planned out. This, unfortunately, can't flex like live events can. I will tell you right now, if you are autocratting a virtual event, you will not take a minute for yourself. You will forget to eat. You will forget to drink. So day of, I would also recommend you have a entourage to take care of you. I got yelled at a lot for sitting on the couch and not moving. I would also strongly suggest you have somebody to help you moderate your group. I know I had my laptop, my phone, my tablet, my best friend's laptop, and her phone all going at once, trying to catch everything myself. Wolfina was a huge savior for me, as she was also doing all this on her end. I seriously would not have been able to do it all by myself, and I highly recommend you don't try to do it all by yourself, because as much as you lay stuff out for everybody, they still will not find it, and they will still PM you and get frustrated and get phone calls, and you're like, no, I gotta do this. It's gone. I'm sorry, y'all. Any other questions right now?
Oh,
So,
go ahead.
yeah, so I just want to make sure that I understand, that I've got a picture of how you did this virtual event.
Sure.
You had people scheduled through the day, each in individual different Zoom meetings
Mm-hmm.
for class. So
Mhm.
it wasn't one long continuous Zoom meeting. It was
Yes.
individual Zoom
They were
meetings.
all, yeah. That helped with being able to double schedule people.
Okay.
Because of that, if you're going to have the 40-minute classes, I don't think it would be a problem. But we did discover that you have to have multiple paid accounts to stack classes next to each other. So that's something to consider. Thankfully, we have several members that have paid accounts who offered up their Zoom accounts to host for us. But
yeah, because that was something I noticed the other day. I hadn't run into it where it became a problem yet, but that, yeah, you're limited to like 45 minutes if you don't have a paid account. So, okay, so I think you answered my question. Thank you.
you're welcome. The other thing I would recommend is putting up a disclaimer that classes are going to be recorded, because a lot of people might be doing other things, but they still want to take the class, and this is a fantastic opportunity to spread that. Obviously, we've seen this over and over and over again. I feel like I'm repeating a lot of stuff you guys already know. But that way it's covering you on the legal basis, because it gets into all of our fun waivers of, thankfully this is an event, so it gets around a lot of like the group photos and stuff, but at the same time it's video and people are still really leery about it. So I would really make it up front of, hey, we will be recording this class and making it available later. If you're uncomfortable with that, that's fine, let me know. And then they can either, you know, stop their video so they're not shown, or opt out and watch it later. She started leaving me alone and was laying on my phone. So one other really super fun thing that we did that went over really well was their excellencies were doing pop-up courts in people's front yards. If there's some way that you have, it doesn't necessarily have to be a pop-up court, it doesn't have to be their excellencies, but if there's some way that you can get out to local people and just do little surprise things, that goes over so well and adds just that little bit more personal, relatable touch to it than just staring at a computer screen and answering some questions all day. I can't even begin to tell you how much positive feedback we got on that. And if that's something that you guys are able to do with your own event, do it. Just do it.
It takes the tension of like being able to attend court and saying, oh, I wonder who's going to be called up next, and heightens it even farther, sort of bring it to the publisher's clearinghouse level.
So for all of that, I was sitting on the couch. I'm like, they might show up at my house. I need to put on some garb. Thankfully, they didn't, and they left me alone until much later that day, but I was ready.
One other question real quick. How much, the paid memberships, how much do those cost? Do you know?
$16 a month.
I'm sorry, how much a month?
Sorry, $16 a month. My family just renewed, so I just saw it on my bank account.
Can you cancel that at any time?
Yeah.
Okay. Because $16 a month doesn't sound like much until, you know, the end of the year, and almost $200 is just like, well, how did I do that? So,
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So, when you set up your virtual event in your Facebook group, really utilize your announcements. You can unpin and repin things all the time. It makes it really convenient for, hey, this is what's going on right now. Hey, here's our schedule. This is what's coming up right now. If you're having any like far out in advance contests, then you can put reminders up there of, hey, this is going on right now. Day of, I would definitely pin your schedule. I would also put together a site map of where to find things, how to find things, who to contact for certain things, our EU, your other moderator, your coordinators for questions. That was something that we missed out on, and we're kind of really sad we missed out on that. So a little bit more in depth than just a schedule of, hey, this is how you can go in and add things to this virtual album for this contest, or hey, this is how you can find the events page on this certain tab. I found I really take for granted how comfortable I am using Facebook that I forget other people aren't as comfortable with it. The other thing I would put in that little site map would be the how to turn off notifications for posts, how to put your site to pop up for most recents instead of most recently commented on. And that way people can really keep track of stuff that way. To create photo albums was really, really cool. Something that I'm really glad that we were able to do. But what people don't realize is they can post to those if they're public. Really go through and promote how to do that and how to upload stuff. And we did origami Spang site tokens, which is also something really cool and something to consider as how can you have your event to have site tokens, because there are those that collect their site tokens. The origami was really easy because it's something they could print at home, and Her Excellency did this really cute instructional video on how to do it, which also gave that personalization and bringing it into the home a little more than just text. I really encourage you to make it as personal an experience as possible. A lot of it can get lost in just the scrolling or on the phone. And that's where these videos really help. They can be from you. You can have some other people pop up. And again, that goes with the pop-up courts. Really stress feeling of excitement for the countdown coming up to the event, and build that anticipation. That always works out really good. When you're doing your posts, make sure make sure you put a description of what is in your picture, because not everybody can read these pictures. So always just put the exact same thing in the text. I know it's boring and repetitive, but it really helps. I can't think of anything else right now, y'all. Can't.
That's okay. I mean, that was a lot. That was a whole lot.
What other questions or concerns do y'all have for putting together a virtual event?
Well, I have a question considering I'm getting ready to do one here in a couple of weeks.
Yes, ma'am.
So you talked about using the photo albums.
Mhm.
I was thinking for like, oh gosh, we're doing the whole camp competition, best dressed camp. Well, I was just going to do that as an event and have people upload their pictures in there. I mean, do you see an advantage or disadvantage to going either way?
I don't. I will tell you, to remember to really check the comments on the photo album.
Okay.
A lot of people will upload there instead of in the photo album.
Okay.
You also, this is where your moderating really comes in, is people will just post them instead of in the album, so you can
Right.
find all of them.
Right. Okay.
So I would recommend having, how many events are you having that are going to be photo albums, Kat?
Well, probably just 2, because we're doing the site token
Okay.
decoration, and then we're doing that one.
Do you have people to help you moderate?
I do. I have, because there are 3 autocrats actually for the event, and
Oh, awesome.
they're all going to come in war game at my house. So we're just going to set up at the, dining room table with our laptops and phones and war game it from there.
So since you have such a fantastic team, I would really strongly recommend each person has their own focus.
Okay, that's a good
like
idea.
Have one person just going through and vaguely monitoring if anybody's posting stuff, if anybody's asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
Have somebody else, like once you post like your trivia ones that you're going to do,
Mm-hmm.
like have somebody keeping track of those, making sure that people aren't posting things that need to be posted elsewhere, direct traffic, basically.
Right. That's a great idea. I think it'll help if we all have our own little lane.
Well, and that way, you're not, oh, I'm sorry, and tripping over each other. And I think it would cause a lot less stress.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We can talk about it because we're getting together on Sunday. We can figure out who's going to cover what. So thank you.
Welcome. John?
Yeah. So with Zoom, I know you can, for like PowerPoint presentations, you can share your screen. Can you do the same with videos and video content and with the audio? Okay, because one of the things that we have coming up here, and there hasn't been much discussion on it yet, and I've only been thinking about it the last couple of days, is our Yule Revel. I don't think that anybody has talked about Yule Revel, put in a bid for Yule Revel. I had an idea to do one in 2021, but what about this year? And some of the places you might want to rent aren't renting yet, so we might have to go to a virtual event. So I was thinking that with it being Yule Revel, if people had like 1 or 2 minute Christmas greetings, that you could, like, okay, the day before or a couple of days before, whatever deadline, okay, get us your Christmas greetings, and then we will play them during the Zoom meeting. So that's what
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So, and again, I'm just over the last couple of days, it occurred to me even to suggest that I might put together a bid for it.
You could do a lot of fun stuff with the Yule, because you could do like Christmas trivia. Yeah, you could do all kinds of fun stuff with that.
I'm thinking I'm thinking that we'd want to keep it to much shorter, because usually, as someone has described Yule Revel as kind of the SCA office Christmas party, where people they want to see their friends, they want to hang out, and not necessarily be herded one way or another. You want things for the kids, and there's certain things, and normally there's like a pirate gift exchange and a cookie exchange, which virtually would be problematic. But I think that if you had maybe a 3-hour, maybe less, maybe more, 3-hour Yule Revel, where you could have, okay, we're going to have this musical event, we're going to have this children's story, we're going to have this small court, the thing, because I do filmmaking, I'm kind of looking at it as a video production, and the one rule you cannot break, be it stories or certainly with anything video, is you can never be boring. That is the one rule. You can break all the other rules. You just can never be boring when people are watching. So that's, and I'm rambling at this point. But anyway, so you answered my question. Thank you.
I had an idea about if you were wanting to do a cookie exchange for your Yule event, though.
Yeah.
Is make it like a Secret Santa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or like Sable Swap. Because I think y'all did that for Beltane, right? So people signed up and expressed their preferences, and then you pair people together, and then suddenly they have they get mailed a bunch of cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did both mail, and if they didn't want to mail, we could do local drop off.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a ding dong ditch with cookies.
Yeah. Another thing I was thinking too, John, is you were saying people want to get together and hang out with their friends. Have an hour or two where it's just like this, where it's just an open Zoom channel where people can just talk, because people are missing their friends right now because they're not together. So, and have it be a scheduled thing,
Yeah.
From 3 to 5, it's just going to be open Zoom, come chat with your friends. Because they did that for North Keep and they liked it a lot.
Okay. My concern would be if you had 100 people all wanting to talk at the same time.
Yeah.
That could be problematic without somebody being a traffic cop.
Right.
And then somebody's a traffic cop, and some people get to talk more and feel slighted when they don't get to talk, and
True.
So there is that. So
yeah, I don't know how it works for North Keep. I'd have to ask them if they had problems with that or not.
Yeah, but okay. Well, thanks for the suggestion. I'll look into that.
I enjoyed the cookie exchange. I got some awesome cookies.
Yeah, that was a lot
Yeah,
of
it's
fun.
exciting.
Who doesn't?
It only took a week for them to get to me, but they were still good.
I think I got mine like a week and a half later, so I got cookies a week and a half later. I'm not going to complain. They still showed
They were
up.
still fresh.
Exactly. Are there any other questions about a virtual event? They're lots of fun. They're lots of fun to put together. It's, I don't know. It was super rewarding for me, and I'm available if you have any questions in like after this. Just shoot me a message. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
virtual events, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice
Wow.
class.
Bye,
Appreciate
everybody.
it.
Kat, can I talk to you real quick?
Okay, I'm going to
Yes,
drop
ma'am.
off. Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Don't hang up, Kat.
Okay. I will not hang up.
Okay. Hey,
Oh, wait, hold
It'll-
on just a second. We're recording. Let me stop recording.